Hello, fellow food lovers. Today I will be making battered fish fillet pieces using Basa fish with cream corn and egg sauce. So you will need 1 Basa fish fillet, 1 cup of all-purpose white flour, 1½ teaspoon of baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 to 1 cup of water, 1 can of cream corn, 1 egg, and 1 tablespoon of soy sauce. Okay, we're going to make the batter now. So it's fairly simple. We're going to use 1 cup of white flour, and we're going to add baking powder. So we're going to use 1½ teaspoon of baking powder. And to season the batter, we're going to use 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So when you make the batter, it's going to look like pancake batter or cake batter. That's the consistency. So it's going to be pretty wet. So I start with 1/2 cup of water and work from there. If it's still dry, I'll add another 1/4 cup. And if it's still dry, I'll add another 1/4 cup. So I added 1/2 cup first. As you can see, it's quite thick, so I'm going to add another 1/4 cup. It's getting there, but it's still thick, so I'm going to add 1 more 1/4 cup. You want it thick, not too runny, but you want it to be viscous too. You don't want it to be like dough. So this is the same kind of batter that they use to make chicken balls and battered shrimp in Canadian and American Chinese restaurants. So that consistency there is what you're looking for, basically. So that basically was 1 cup of water to 1 cup of flour that I used. Okay, so I have 1 fillet of Basa fish. I'm going to cut it into about 10 to maybe 12 pieces, depending on the size of the fillet. So the easiest way to do it is to probably cut it in half lengthwise, and then cut each half piece into 5 or 6 pieces. So I had about maybe 12 pieces of that fillet. So I'm going to season. I'm going to add just a pinch of salt to the fish. So I'm going to use my fingers to massage the salt into the fish fillet. Okay, so for the sauce, I'm going to use a can of creamed corn and an egg. So I have the wok already. It's on high heat. I filled the wok about half full with cooking oil. And the way the Chinese test the oil to see if it's ready for deep frying is they'll take a wooden chopstick and they'll immerse it in the oil, and if it bubbles like that, it means it's ready. If it doesn't bubble at all, you're going to have to wait a few more minutes. But I have the heat on high throughout the whole process. Yeah, so if you see bubbles coming off the chopstick, it's ready. And it doesn't work with metal chopsticks or plastic chopsticks. It has to be wooden chopsticks. Okay, so I have the fish fillet in the batter, and I mixed it in to make sure that the fillet are well coated in batter. And then I drop each piece one by one into the oil. So for that size wok, with that amount of oil, it's actually can accommodate the entire fillet, the one fillet of Basa. So that's about 10-12 pieces that are going into the oil all at once. So once you've dropped all the fish in there, you're going to take a metal spoon and kind of break it up, because they'll kind of stick to each other initially. So at the beginning, you want to break them up so that they're all separated. Okay, so maybe 5-6 minutes have gone by. I have a plate behind the wok with some paper towels on it that I'm going to use to drain the oil from the fish pieces. So you basically want to fry the fish until the batter is kind of a medium dark or a medium brown. If the batter is still like a light brown color, it's not ready yet. The fish is probably still raw. But if you wait till it gets to be a dark brown color or basically a dark batter, then it's overcooked. So it has to be kind of in the middle ground. So that color is basically what you're looking for. So I usually recycle the oil for when I have to deep fry in the wok again. So I'll usually strain the oil through a sieve into a container that I store on the stove top for when I have to deep fry again. Okay, so I'm transferring the fish into a serving plate. And I'm going to make the sauce now. So I have the wok on high heat, and it's heating up. So I washed the wok after I finished deep frying the fish, just to start new again. So you want to heat the wok up and have all the water dry before you add any oil in there. Otherwise, you can get a lot of sizzling and maybe burn yourself. So we're going to actually start with about 1/4 to 1/3 cup of water. We add the water just so that the can of cream corn doesn't get too thick. Then we're going to add a tablespoon of soy sauce to that. Stir that, mix it into the water. Then we're going to add the entire can of cream corn into that water. And that soy sauce is basically just to season the sauce. So for this sauce, the cream of corn is fairly thick, so we don't need any cornstarch slurry to thicken the sauce up. So I've got an egg there. I'm going to break it into a bowl, and I'm going to whisk it with a fork, break the yolk up so it's mixed in with the egg white. Give that cream of corn a mix so it's mixed into the water. So I'm going to pour the egg mixture in a light stream into the sauce as I'm stirring the sauce so that it creates an egg swirl pattern into the sauce. You don't want to dump the egg in all at once. You want to kind of pour it in slowly and kind of swirl it in. So you're going to cook that sauce for about a minute just to make sure that the egg's cooked. Okay, so the sauce is pretty much done. When the egg kind of turns white in the sauce, then it tells you it's done. Okay, I'm going to turn the heat off, and I'm going to pour the sauce over the fish pieces. So this is a very classic Hong Kong type of dish that you can find in Hong Kong restaurants. Typically it's using fish fillet and not whole fish or bone-in fish. It's just easier to handle. And preferably a white fleshed fish. So Basa actually is a very perfect fish for this. Okay, there you have it. That's battered fish pieces in a cream corn and egg sauce. So this is a really great dish to eat with rice. The cream of corn sauce goes really well with rice. Okay, bon appetit.